हाय व्यूअर्स। इस वीडियो में मैं आपको एक बड़ी ही विचित्र ड्रिलमेंट के बारे में जानकारी दूंगा। इन दिस केस it's a derailment of a goods train and one wagon derailed. The loco pilot could not acknowledge the derailment and dragged up to 4.7 plus kilometers. This is the case of a hill section where there were two locos in the front and one loco in the rear as a banking loco. आइए इतनी विचित्र ड्रिलमेंट में हमने क्या क्या देखा, कैसे कैसे एनालाइज किया, वो इसमें हम आपको विल ट्राई टू शो। एंड फ्रॉम द पॉइंट वेयर इट स्टॉप्ड टू द पॉइंट in the rear from where it derailed, how do we calculate the timings from that distance, और फिर हम कैसे उस टाइम के आसपास ऊपर नीचे अप एंड डाउन टाइमिंग्स में इंजन के पैरामीटर्स को हम वेरीफाई करते हैं कि उसका ट्रैक्टिव एफर्ट बढ़ गया, कम हो गया, नॉच क्या थी, थ्रॉटल पोजीशन क्या थी, स्पीड क्या थी, ब्रेक प्रेशर कब उसने जो है अप्लाई किया। सो ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स हम कैसे एनालाइज करते हैं इन केस ऑफ ड्रिलमेंट्स, अपार्ट फ्रॉम जो वैगन डिरेल हुई उसके मेजरमेंट्स। इतनी मज़ेदार चीज़ें इसमें रिवील हुई ना। आई होप यू विल एंजॉय इट। लेट्स मूव अहेड। This is the picture of the wagon which derailed, and this is in derailed condition with the trolley, and this is the picture of the side frame which had a broken lug, and this end is broken, and this only one wagon had derailed in the entire, and the drag length is reported to be something around 4750 or so meters, mean nearly 5 kilometers. These are the elastomeric pads which are perished, pulverized or perished, and this is another adapter also twisted, and EM pad once again no more. Yeah, this is the view of the side frame broken, and we can see here these are just very fine surfaces. This is also fine surfaces, mean internal flaws were there. These are the holes, again hole, again hole, and we can we see minutely see these surfaces also give impression of fine surfaces which had been just like we can say battering or pre-breakage indications, but normally these surfaces nobody checks. I don't know what is the sequence or the periodicity of checking all these, whether these are subjected to ultrasonic tests or not, these side frames. But these are all old pipings or blowholes, we can say, in the cast. And this is whatever was observed, and this is the other part, this side. This is the broken part. And these are the different views of this wagon. Well, this is another view, a closer look at the defects what we had found and seen in the previous slide. These are the holes, and we can see these are cast defects maybe. This is the position of the wagon after derailment, and this packing was inserted, and this was derailed. Now this is stabled for further measurements and investigation. This is the event recorder of the lead loco. This is the loco number, and this is the sample. On most of the occasions when we ask for a event recorder, normally what our counterparts do, they give data like this way: date, time, and this, somewhere it is kilometers, somewhere it is distance, and speed. Beyond that they don't give. So please do not accept that sort of event recorder or speed chart, because that is always fabricated or edited version. So always have this type of original one. Of course, for our verification, we need date, time, kilometer, mean from where we can calculate the distance. See, here it is 10-meter difference. It has traveled in 1 second 10. See, 621 minus 611 is 10 meters. So this is the speed, and yeah, this is the tractive effort which speaks about the load on the loco. And then we have, this is the brake pipe pressure. This also we need to know at what time what pressure is maintained, or if there is any, what you call, a snap in the brake pipe, then also this pressure will go down to zero. And if the driver applies the brake, then also this pressure will change, this will also change. So these two. Then another is throttle. This is more important, so this portion also we need. Tractive effort limit, it's off anyway. These are certain things which normally we don't require, but the important ones I normally segregate from this one and make it different graph. As I said that we extract the most needing one for our calculation purposes. So this I have copied out. This is the time, this is the speed, this is the brake pressure, then this is the tractive effort. THL means throttle position, then this is kilometer, and this is the distance. Okay, so why I need this is just to see that from the total drag length where the train came to a halt, from that location I'll go that much of distance back in the rear with the timings, है ना? So in this case the total drag was 4750, so I could get up to 53, so 2-3 meters hardly matters. So this time I have gone back at what time it could have occurred. So this comes out to somewhere around here, 33 or so. So this distance we calculate like that way, and from there we see these parameters. What had happened, the throttle position was in increasing,
this was in increasing position. Okay, so then we also come to know about the section details. So from where the train stopped, so 902 is the distance. Prior to that, the grade was falling up to 1800 meters. The train had traveled in this direction, and before meeting the derailment or the accident, it was on a falling gradient. So how we come to know falling gradient also? Then we have to plot the sectional details and see. So in this graph sheet, I have plotted the sectional details of the grade, right? So from 46 kilometer onwards, we had this derailment somewhere at 47 7 to 5 52 5. सो एट 7 में कुछ प्रोटेक्शन लगाया हुआ था उन्होंने. सो ये यहाँ पे आकर के ये गिरी है, और ये पोर्शन में इसका इस तरह से इसका जो टाइमिंग हमने निकाला है, दिस ट्रेन वाज ट्रैवलिंग prior to derailment on a falling gradient. So this is how we use various data to make things very clear as far as the running of the loco is concerned, or the sectional details are concerned. So how the train was moving, how it was moving on a particular section, what was the grade, whether it was falling, it was rising or so, how was the tractive effort, what was the throttle position. And from this graph and the previous one, we can know the behavior, the working, the running of the train per second wise. So this is how we can make use of this data. And this just what I wanted to share with you all my viewers, that we can use it in the most effective way, provided we get the proper data and sectional details. And it's very easy and very technical, very analytical, for the purpose of investigation of derailments. So again, we can have various data, and we can copy that data and make and see the behavior of the locomotive, the running of the locomotive rather. So I have plotted from this 1528-43 से लेकर के, मतलब I showed you in the previous one that when I went back, it was in increasing. I mean, the throttle was in notching up position gradually. So this is how, in order to maintain the speed, the throttle is again up. So this gray white line shows the throttle. This is the speed in kmph, and this is the tractive effort. So see how the tractive effort was increased, then it was decreased, then ran a bit low, then again increased, again falling, again increased, again falling. So this sort of up down up down up down does cause shuttling in the train composition. And when it is also being hauled from the front by two engines and being pushed by a banking engine, so there are multiple forces which can result into derailment. And and if there is a buffer height difference, and say this is low and this is high, and if this gets a push like this, it can lift and derail. So now I'll come to buffer later on, but just I wanted to show you how we can plot various graphs out of the data available and see for ourselves. This is another one. This is only speed and tractive effort. So again, we can see the same thing whatever we had seen in the previous graph, how the tractive effort was increasing, decreasing, increasing and decreasing. So it's just moving like this way, sinusoidal way. Frequent up down, frequent up down, frequent up down. So till now we had been discussing the run of the locomotive, and now we'll begin with the wagon measurement, which was affected when there was only a single wagon which had derailed. So these are the initial details of the wagons, number of the wagon, and these details. My first and foremost emphasis is always on measuring the buffer height. This gives me the pulse of the suspension system. So here, initially when the wagon was derailed and it was emptied on the side where it was on the side which trolley had derailed. So the derailed trolley side was emptied, and then in empty condition the buffer height was 1035. So one can imagine if it is fully loaded, so certainly it will go below 1030, and 1030 is the minimum required in loaded condition. So from here my direct suspicion goes to poor suspension system. So this is what I could reveal from here, and further this was strengthened by my reading of these two parameters. So 225 and 235, certainly the grouping is improper, and that I will show you how I came to that. Again, there was a difference of wheel diameter. Now it is a debatable parameter, because mechanical says they don't have any limit in service. So there can be any amount of wheel diameter difference, it doesn't matter. Great, what a logic. But anyway, I must emphasize and I must inform, there is in-service limit for the locomotive. For diesel it is 1.6 mm on the same axle, that is the last limit. For electric loco it is 2.5. How come the wagons do not have any wheel diameter difference in service tolerance? This is somewhat very funny thing what they say, but still we have the difference. Whatever is recorded, it is being displayed here. So this trolley which derailed had a problem with the wheel diameter as well. Now next portion comes about this thing, the lateral clearances. So we can see from the record that this is 55, 64, 61, 60. Now these are to be added, these are not to be singly given over here, and the maximum limit here is 45, and for the column 43 its maximum limit is 26 millimeter, and while for this one it's 20 millimeter. So we can see all the clearances are abruptly varying and are beyond the maximum permissible limits. 60, 45, 61, 45, 64, 45, 55, 45. We can oversee here also. This is the lateral clearance between the side frame and the axle box adapter. The maximum is 26 and we are having almost the double of it. It's really fantastic. Never seen such huge clearances on a wagon. Again, the lug has broken. I mean, the side frame has broken already, we have seen. And the clearances are again, see, it's more than the maximum permissible. It's 24, 23, 34. Well, everything is before you, nothing to deliberate on this. And one thing more I would like to say, why we added these ones were because these two are added. this plus this makes a total clearance. This is between the side frame and the bolster. This is bolster, this is side frame. Similarly, here also the lateral clearance is these two total are taken, so these are added. So here we have added this 18 plus 24 like this way. So that's why uh, when we add it, the clearances are abruptly high. Now comes the turn of suspension system, and few seconds back I had told that how my suspicion went from buffer height to defective suspension system is now illustrated from this sheet. These are the standard heights in the range of 3 millimeter. So the group 1, 2, 3, 4 are having the range of only and only 3 millimeters. So in a wagon, if it is yellow band, then all springs will be of the yellow band, and these are the ranges given. Maximum is 260, minimum is 245 for the outer, and then we have 243, 228 for the inner, 293 and 278 for the snubber springs. Now let's see what's the beauty of this measurement. Yeah, on white paper with blue ink and red encircling certainly increases the beauty of the data sheet. All blue circles, red circle indicate those which are out of the tolerance. So more than the permissible range springs have been used. And we see the permitted range is 3 millimeter of height difference, while we have 8 millimeter of height difference in the outer spring. This is 262 and 254 makes a difference of 8 millimeter, while 243 and 232 make a difference of 11 millimeter in the inner springs. Again, this is at condemnation limit. Less than 278, it's condemned. Further, we have higher range springs. Here it is 294, here it is 295. One thing very importantly today I am going to share with you here. Whenever we measure the springs, there is always a very spicy reply from the mechanical branch that after the derailment the springs get damaged or this or that. Well, one can understand it can compress down permanently. How it can increase in height? How it can increase? As actually, the results are before you, and you are very well. You can decide. You are at liberty to decide for yourself whether what they say is correct or not. This is after derailment. Now, see the percentage. Outer springs 46% defective, snubber 37% defective. और अगर हम सारे स्प्रिंग ले लें 32 स्प्रिंग है, 32 स्प्रिंग में 16 आउट ऑफ रेंज है, तो बचा क्या? क्या बचा? So the suspension system is totally out. Cannot it cannot share the load properly. It the basic requirement of the spring bed is to give a horizontal platform to the load. So if the platform is like this way, twisted one, so it is more dangerous than the track twist because it is moving load. Right? So this was about the suspension system, and we are running trains with 50% effective suspension. And ऐसी मेजरमेंट में बोलेंगे ये प्रोफार्मा में नहीं है, फ्री हेड आपके प्रोफार्मा में नहीं है, ये हमने ज़बरदस्ती लिया. ज़बरदस्ती in the sense inquiry committee has the liberty to take any additional measurements. Wide para 6 and 7 of the railway goods letter. Well, viewers, knowledge is just like this ocean, and learning has no end. And also, learning does not have any age. At any age, one can start learning. Only thing required is the appetite to learn. So, in this video about this case study, if I sum up, there was a drag of 5 kilometers, which the loco pilots could not make out as to what was going wrong with the train composition and how they failed to recognize until and unless it was a final 5 kilometers of track damage. The train stopped. If we go to the wagon, wheel axle, wheel diameter is differing. We come to the suspension, 50% springs are out of the tolerance. If we talk about the clearances of the trolley, all are abruptly higher than the maximum permissible. Somewhere it is 1.5 times. So how do we run the train? How do we certify that this is fit to run? What is the intermediate check? These are the points which need to be pondered upon. And once again, I thank you very much. And I hope you like it. And if you liked it, do give a thumbs up. Please subscribe my channel, view it, and pass it on to your juniors and inquiring officers. Most essentially, it is for the SSEs, JEs who are taking the wagon measurements, and also for the inquiry officers to know the data, to have the data so that that can be verified with the ground reality, whatever is being measured or is recorded. So anyhow, thank you once again. Stay blessed, stay tuned, keep watching. Thank you.